This is the follow-up on the Dragon, and we explored a little while back, pushed up to my Battletech archives in detail, the role, the questions, the tactica of the Dragon, and I want to build on that a little bit and summarize it because there's been a lot of incoming comments. We're seeing, truly, this is the golden age of Battletech. Old players digging out their minis, returning, the Catalyst Mech bomb about to drop soon, at some point, but it's going to push in this massive influx. And one of the challenging things, this is a good thing being a miniature wargamer because you can never have too many mechs, as you develop your play style, your player personality, and when you find that personality, mechs that would be considered an auto-include, mechs that are solid for a variety of reasons, or you want to experiment with different things, or just add a solid machine. Here's the list. That's what we've been exploring. So if you're looking to build your mech collection, Fritz is giving you permission right now to go out and secure yourself a Dragon. And this is even available for non-Kurita players. We have a heavy mech. Battle value buy-in is about 1,100, somewhere around there. An average price, as soon as we begin to push up higher than that, there has to be some good reasons. Because in a 2,000 to 3,000, 4,000 battle value game, well, let's say 3 to 4K battle value, we need to make sure we have all of our bases literally covered, and we might want to throw in some infantry and support vehicles. So the difference, if you've ever been building a Total Warfare list, you see that all the toys you want to take, often to squeeze them all in, you might be short by like 80, 90, 100 battle value. So really, really paying attention to the battle value. That's not to say that higher BV machines don't have their place, but the Dragon is well for what it does. We've got a heavy mech. The weapon systems are really unique. This is not a specialized mech. The counter, even though it's in a different weight class, I use as an example the longbow because it's a favorite mech of mine. The longbow is a fire support mech. If we look at the Jaeger mech, a fire support mech, it wants to hang back and just blast you at long range. The Dragon is not specialized. It has an answer. It has something for every range bracket. This allows it to plug and play, fit into a variety of different roles. Whether you're building a specialized lance and you want to have a blocking unit, or you want to have something to deal with other aspects of the game, pull in the Dragon. You want a lance of mixed mechs that can do a little bit of everything. So as the game evolves, you can look at what your opponent is weak in and look to put pressure there. Pull in the Dragon. You want a good mech that can just hold its own against a variety of targets because you don't know what the mission's going to be. You don't know. It's a closed list. You don't know what your opponent is going to bring. Pull in the Dragon. It's like the checklist. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent mech. We start with the LRM 10. This, in my opinion, is the bare minimum that we want in terms of 5, 10, 15, and 20 packs. On heavy mechs, I like to see 15s and 20s. On assault mechs, just 20s. There are heavy mechs like the Grasshopper that has the LRM 5 in the head. It gives it something to do, but that's more primarily focused on an energy-based mech. The LRM 5 isn't necessary for the tactics for the Grasshopper. LRM 10 means it's going to give some decent damage, some decent soak damage, and if you roll better than average, it's going to put out good damage. We've got long range. So on the way in, the Dragon is shooting and engaging at long range. You could do the indirect if you wanted to, but I would counter and say a Dragon indirecting, unless it's on the way into the target, you're not utilizing the other aspects, the other weapons of it, and you're not utilizing it that well because it only has one 10-pack. If it had 2 or it had multiple packs, that's better suited for indirect. But it's there. It's there on your Tactica. It's there on your checklist. While it's moving in at long range, it's plinking away with the AC-5. Both are shooting, shooting, shooting. As it begins to close, it's now going to switch to the AC-5 and the medium lasers. It has one in the arm, one in the rear. And this is where things get interesting because the Tactica for the Tactica for a rear-facing laser doesn't always happen, but it works very well on a mixed-use mech like the Dragon. Because often what we'll see, and we covered this also in the archive looking at rear armor, you and I advance each other. We're 3 or 4 hexes away. If we're a heavy mech, now we're blasting everything. We're rolling the dice. If there's a mech closing to get rear armor, if there's something running around, or it could be a vehicle too, it could be a warrior helicopter, if it's pulling around, I don't want to turn to face it or try and swat it with all of my weapons, because then I'm exposing side or rear armor to whatever's shooting at me, and I'm taking the brunt of it. I want to return fire. But I don't want something behind me just blasting away. So often what you'll see is a really cheap support vehicle, hovercraft with SRM packs. You might see a warrior helicopter. You might see just also usually a light mech running around behind you. This is where the medium laser now allows you at least to shoot back and maybe drive off that mech. So you can keep your forward weapons facing the primary target, sitting there blasting with the autocannon, doing the laser. Maybe also the LRM-10 under minimum. You never know if you want to push the heat. And you've got that rear-facing laser. So you have something in a variety of roles. You put it in a mixed lance. As it's walking in, it can do the long range. Then it switches to the medium range brackets. Then it switches to the short range bracket. And being a heavy mech at 60 tons, you've got a little bite if you're going to punch and kick. So you can close and do that. Yes, there's a big difference between punching and kicking with a 100-ton mech, but that's higher battle value, and that has its own challenges in there. Looking at the Dragon, and again, up in the archive, you can search in detail Dragon Tactica, but in building our list, and the Jenner was also on this list, I'm giving you permission to go out and get a Jenner too. These are mechs that you can't go wrong buying them, and eventually you'll get lots and lots of mechs and build out your collection. But prioritizing what to purchase to get the most out on the table, and as you build different lances, I believe the Dragon does have a very unique place in the game.